Right, so I'm unsure if any of you are aware, but the BBC have just come out saying that the ex-leader of Reform UK in Wales has had ties to Russia. And then upon this being released, they disabled all the comments. I'd be very hesitant at first glance for anything to do with a Russia situation. They made it up in 2016 about Donald Trump. They made it up in 2016 onwards about Aaron Banks. They've made it up about Nigel Farage for a very, very long time. So when I hear this stuff, especially from the BBC, and then I see the comments removed and deleted, I have a hard time believing it. So I'm going to go through it live here with you and tell you exactly what I think about this article that came out today. Ex-Reform UK Wales leader accused of taking Russian-linked bribes. It was originally Russian bribes on their Twitter. I'll show a screenshot here. He was a member of the European Parliament for 6 years, from 14 to 20 in the 2000s. The former leader of Reform UK in Wales has appeared in court accused of accepting bribes to make statements in the European Parliament that would benefit Russia. Aren't you 11 to 5 years late? If this is the case, why has it taken over a decade or up to half a decade to figure out? Surely, if you knew about this information, you would act on it like that, because democracy is sacred, these people claim. So I like, first glance, I'm confused as to why they're only just finding out about this. If they had this information, why did they sit on it for over a decade to half a decade? It doesn't make any sense already in the first few lines. The court heard that Mr. Gill, who was a UKIP and later a Brexit Party MEP between 2014 to 2020, was alleged to have received money from his co-defendant and former Ukrainian politician Oleg Voloshin. He appeared at Westminster Magistrates Court by video link on Monday, speaking to confirm his name, date of birth, and address. The defendant is alleged to have been tasked by Mr. Voloshin on at least 8 occasions to make specific statements in return for money. So it's a Ukrainian. I thought that Keir Starmer, his whole jig at the moment is saying Ukraine isn't Russia. So a Ukrainian allegedly pay someone to say a few statements he agrees with, and it's Russian interference from a Ukrainian politician. Okay. The court heard statements made in the European Parliament and in opinion pieces to news outlets such as 112 Ukraine were supportive of a particular narrative which would benefit Russia regarding events in Ukraine. A spokesperson for Reform Wales said Mr. Gill is not a member of Reform UK. Alright. A lawyer for the Crown Prosecution Service told the court Mr. Gill was stopped at Manchester Airport on 30th September 2021 under anti-terror legislation. So he was arrested almost 4 years ago about it, before the February 2022 invasion of land in Ukraine. His mobile phone was seized and evidence was found. He was in a professional relationship with Mr. Voloshin and had agreed to receive or accept monies in return for him performing activities as an MEP. He was an MEP for almost 6 years and briefly represented North Wales in the Welsh Parliament. Mr. Gill was first elected as a UKIP MEP in 2014, yada yada yada. He was replaced. He served as UKIP's leader for Wales, and then was leader of the Brexit Party, but not Reform, despite them saying it's Reform. I know Brexit Party was the original name, and this is a rebrand, but he's still not the leader of Reform. He was the leader of the Welsh Brexit Party, not the Welsh Reform Party, and he's due to appear on the 14th of March. So, you let him get away with it for 6 years, got him a year later, and then didn't act on it for almost 4 years. And you say it's Russian interference from a Ukrainian politician. I know Ukraine are corrupt. I wouldn't be shocked if this is true. But just from reading the article, it doesn't align with their narrative. He wasn't a Reform UK Welsh leader. He was a UKIP MEP, then Brexit Party MEP. And and was the Welsh Brexit Party leader, by the sounds of it, not under the rebrand of Reform. And that's a nice little twist. Russian-linked bribes. Originally it said Russian. Russian-linked is a bit more honest. But a Ukrainian politician paid him. He took the money. So it's like the Bidens, really. And if this guy's guilty, throw the book at him. Because foreign interference of any sort is not good. But the BBC and how they turned off comments like that, they know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. And I can tell you here now, they know what they're doing. If you can't see it, that's okay. You know, I've expressed my thoughts as I've read this article. I know what they're playing at. I know they're twisting words to fit a certain narrative and to kind of deviate the truth whilst claiming no responsibility for deviating it. Oh, well, you must have just assumed this. They are purposefully doing this to make you think a half-truth. And this is why it's important when you do look at these organisations. I don't trust any of them. I get my news from multiple sources and I make my own decisions upon that. This is typical media. It's typical journalism. It's portraying itself as impartial whilst trying to bend reality into a narrative of their liking. This is not new to the BBC especially, but this is just sad. When we have to pay a TV license to watch any TV and fund these guys for them to, you know, say, well, we're the impartial national service, so we deserve it. All right, you're impartial. No, you're not. This is more grounds for the fund the BBC is, the cancel the license fees. Because these people, you give them an inch and they take 50 miles from you plus tax. They take the mickey, and within just a little read and a little gander and a little scan, you can see right through it like a glass window.